Hello and welcome back. How's your project coming along? In this lesson, we're going to make the pipes move. So in the earlier lessons, we created a bird. We have them moving around the screen, and we also created a series of pipes that are going to act as obstacles that the bird has to fly through. So we need to have them moving across the screen. So let's add that in, and in this lesson, we're going to accomplish that movement. So within the play game method, this is where we can add in the movement of the pipes. So adding in move pipes, and we'll pass in our bird object. And that means that we need to move the pipes after we select the element with the class of bird. Now let's create that function. So this is the function where we want to move the obstacles across the screen so that the player can interact with them. Creating our function called move pipes, and we're passing in the bird object. So that's our player character. Let's select all of the lines. So creating an object that we can use to store all of our lines, and then using query selector all. So we're going to select all of the elements that have a class of pipe and add them into a node list. Also, we're going to need a counter for counting how many pipes we've gone through. So looping through all of the items within the node list, we can output that as for each, and then have a function that returns back the item information. So this is going to return back each and every pipe, and each pipe is going to be indicated under item. We'll log that out for now so you can see what that looks like. So you see we get a whole bunch of elements that are being loaded here, and we're getting them output into our console. And these indicate the different pipes that we have on our screen. So what we want to do is we want to adjust their style attributes and move them. So taking our item X value, and remember we had set a pipe X value, so for each one of the pipes we've got an X value, and we're going to move it, subtracting out the player speed from it. And then we can take that item and we can update it, so applying a style left value to it, and then using that item X value that we just created, apply the new position for that element. So let's see what happens now. So this time when I press start, you can see that we've got them moving. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that once the X is less than 0, then we want to restart them, and we want to remove them from our screen, increase the counter value, and then add them in, so build some more pipes. So now we can apply that check, checking to see if item X value is less than 0, and if it is, then we're taking the item and selecting its parent element, and then from the parent element we're going to remove the child that matches the value of item. So effectively what this will do is this will remove it from our visible area, and we're going to increment the counter by 1. So this way we know how many pipes we've removed. Counts pipes to remove. And because for each one of those there's a top one and a bottom one, that means that we have to divide that value of counter by 2. So taking counter, so this is how many we actually have to create, because when we create the pipe, so going back to our function where we're creating it, we're doing the build pipes, we see that we're creating pipe 1 and pipe 2. So that's why we're dividing it by 2 to get the actual number that we have to create. And then depending on how many have run off the screen, we're going to loop through, and there's probably only one at a time each time, but just in case, we're going to make it dynamic and loop through the number of values within counter. And then here we can build pipes, and we're going to set our start position to 0. So going into here, our start position is going to be 0. So once it runs off of the screen to the left-hand side, then it's going to regenerate and show up back on the right-hand side. So I'm going to make this small, and then I'm going to increase the size of the screen so that you can see what's happening. So once we make it big again, you can see that these are moving along. And then of course, next we have to introduce that obstacle collision. So you see that once it reaches the end, it automatically shows up after on the right hand side. And also take a close look at the number values. So they have the incrementing number values of which pipe it is. So we've got 3 that have already gone, and now we've created 3 more. So we've created 4, 5, 6. So we're also adding in the numbers. So now 7, 8, and 9 are going to show up. So go ahead and add this into your project. Add in the ability to animate and to move our obstacles. And then next, we're going to have to detect obstacle collision. So colliding between the bird and any one of the pipes. So that's coming up next.